There has never been a better time to be a Nebraska Cornhuskers basketball fan. They are one of just 3 remaining unbeaten teams in the country, along with Miami of Ohio and Arizona. And today, the number 8 team in the country goes on the road to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. Big Ten basketball is brought to you by Venmo. Welcome courtside inside Welsh Ryan Arena. He's Brian Butch. I'm Chris Fosters. You look at this Nebraska team, they've gotten a big night from a different player, it feels like, every game.
Well, you look at the last 4 games, they've had 4 leading scorers. They're old, they're connected, they fit together. That's why they're undefeated.
Very balanced team as we take a look at Nebraska and Northwestern starting lineups, brought to you by Venmo. To the point of Nebraska's balance, they were led by Bryce Sanford, 28 points and a career-high 7 threes in a blowout win over Oregon. Northwestern has 2 first-year players in the starting lineup, and the leading scorer in the Big Ten, senior Nick Martinelli from just up the road in Glenview, Illinois. There's Nick trying to lead the Big Ten in points per game back-to-back seasons, became the 4th Wildcat in program history to do so last year, but his Wildcats hunting their first Big Ten win of the season. They are 0-6, and the schedule does not deal them any favors today.
No, but you look at this Northwestern, they're going to have to get some fast break points. They average 14 of them a game. They're going to have to find ways to get easy buckets.
Paul Sells, Amy Bonner, Steve McJunkins are officiating crew this afternoon. 26th meeting between Northwestern and Nebraska. Huskers won the last meeting here inside Welsh Ryan Arena just about a year ago. But the Wildcats have won 8 of the last 10 in the all-time series. Angelo Cheravino on the ball for Northwestern. Here's Trey Singleton, one of the first-year starters for Chris Collins, and he provides the game's first bucket.
Well, and offensively, it was great full flow. They got multiple sides of the floor.
Jamarcus Lawrence with a kick out to Berke Buchtengel. And Rink Mast loses it out of bounds. Dick Martinelli with the defense. Fred Hoiberg has the Nebraska Cornhuskers off to their best start in program history. Recently won his 100th game as Nebraska's head coach. He was born in Lincoln. It has already been a special season for the Cornhuskers, but still a lot of track left on this 25-26 race.
Well, Northwestern switching that pick and roll, it means there's a mismatch down low.
Berke Buchtengel with the first bucket for the Huskers.
And with that switch, the opposite big flashes to that high post, and it's going to be open the entire game.
Jake West making his second start as Northwestern Wildcat. Here's Singleton. Wildcats have been in just about every game they've played, including conference play. But Arrington Page turns it over. Jamarcus Lawrence with the steal. That's something Northwestern cannot afford. Bryce Sanford with it down low. Sam Hoiberg blocked by West. And it's Northwestern ball. Well, as Nebraska has reached new heights this season, we look at Chris Collins, Northwestern's head coach, who has taken this program to some of its greatest heights. An NCAA tournament win, multiple NCAA tournament appearances. This is a rebuilding year.
Well, but there's a lot of teaching and coaching going on. We saw it during shoot-around, but this year probably more than any, he's really had to break things down to an elementary level for this group.
Martinelli for 3. Nick Martinelli has been an outstanding, Northwestern's best three-point shooter this season, let's just say it.
Well, and what he's doing is shooting at 52%. Last year shot at 33%. His development is just remarkable.
23 for 43 from three-point range. Bryce Sanford is an excellent three-point shooter, but he stepped out of bounds there. Northwestern ball.
When you look at that, that's already 2 turnovers for Nebraska. We've got 3 total turnovers, but you look at it in general, like both teams do not turn the ball over. You got Northwestern, they turned it over 8 times. Nebraska turns it over 9.
This is Martinelli. A trademark look for Martinelli, a little bit short on the baseline floater. So surprising to see some turnovers from both teams, usually so good with the ball. Rink Mast.
And when it's a great ghost screen is what that is. Rink Mast comes like he's going to set that screen. He gets out of that so quickly that the big is in a tough position. Page is in a tough position on how to guard that.
Rink Mast averaging over 15 points per game. Cannot take for granted what he has done this season, missing all of last season, recovering from knee surgery. Cheravino misses the three, rebound tipped and snared by Martinelli. 15-footer, he misses off glass. Buyuktanjel pulls it down. Foul on the play, and it's Nebraska ball.
And you look at what Nebraska's able to do. Rink Mast is right there, coming in to set the screen. He comes in, doesn't set it, gets out of that extremely quickly, and because of that, he gets the wide open look. But with the go screen, Page isn't able to help because he's not sure. He's got to be there if the screen is there. He go screens it, wide open three.
First foul of the game was on Angelo Cheravino, number 44. He's guarding Mast in the post. Mast too much for him.
Well, and that's that pick and roll switch that Nebraska, the way they guard, or Northwestern, the way they guard, they're going to switch that. They're going to have weak side help there.
This is the end of a homestand for Northwestern. They lost to in-state rival Illinois on Wednesday. It was a 4-point game late in the second half, to the point of Northwestern being in their Big Ten games. Singleton off the front iron. Nebraska comes in after a 35-point rout of Oregon. The second time already in Big Ten play, Nebraska has beaten a team by 30 or more points. They manhandled Wisconsin at the start of conference play as well. Jamarcus Lawrence for three. Northwestern doesn't shoot a lot from three. Nebraska does. That's their bread and butter.
Well, it is. And you look at Nebraska, how they're able to do it. It's ball movement. That was just an isolation on top. Normally, most of Nebraska's threes come off of great ball movement and the passing.
There's a steal. Berke Buyuktanjel, the big man, finds a ball handler. Nebraska not a team that scores a lot on the fast break. Case in point there. Lawrence corner pocket, too strong. Cheravino the rebound.
Nebraska defensively, look at how compact they are on the defensive end. That's why they're so good. They don't allow a lot of paint scores there. Finally, there is a paint score by Northwestern. It's great footwork there by Cheravino.
Sophomore out of Mount Carmel High School in Chicago.
That's usually the way it goes, too. As soon as I give a compliment of how good defensively they are, there's a breakdown.
So you embrace the broadcaster's jinx. 10-7, Nebraska up on the road. Just down the road from Welsh Ryan Arena, the Wildkits. Evanston High School, Wildkits, Wildcats, all a presence here just north of Chicago. Right now, get 3 months of Big Ten Plus for just $5.99 a month with promo code SAVE26. You get access to hundreds of live Big Ten sporting events, full and condensed replays and highlights. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to BigTenPlus.com. Make sure to enter SAVE26 when selecting a monthly pass at checkout to take advantage of this offer. Huskers love to shoot the three ball. First in the Big Ten, both in makes and attempts. Just under 11 made threes per game. They have 2 already. That's Jamarcus Lawrence inside.
And this was a play that was diagrammed in shoot-around by Northwestern, saying they've gotten this against us. They got it again. You've got to take care of the inbounder. Lawrence was passed out, then right away went in and post, and you've got to be more physical.
Huskers won in here last year 68-64. Foul called on Nebraska there.
They look at Lawrence stepping in. Now, is there a push-off? Probably, absolutely. That being said, one of the things with Northwestern, the physicality, that edge, they've got to play with. They've been in so many close games, so many plays that could have gone their way. That's one small one that if you meet the physicality, because that's what Nebraska wants to do. They're going to be physical with you. And that's an example where Lawrence wins the battle, and it results in 2 points for Nebraska.
Rink Mast picked up the foul for the Huskers a moment ago. Jaden Reed has checked into the game for Northwestern. Had a great game against Illinois, made 4 threes. And there's a teardrop for the South Florida transfer.
You look at what Reed can do coming off such a great game, 28 points. But prior to that, his past 11 games, He didn't shoot above 50%, so it's about being efficient.
Now look at this. He's matched up against the 6'10" Rick Mast, a foot height difference there. Braden Frager, one of Fred Hoiberg's top options off the bench, has it knocked out of bounds. It stays with Nebraska.
And both sides of the floor, Chris, there'll be post double teams. So then there's going to be rotations, and it's what team rotates well. You see Nebraska, you know how well they do that.
Lawrence, the trigger man on the baseline, throws it into Mast. Martinelli on him. Step back, Rick Mast. Short, but on line. Lawrence, the offensive rebound. Frager for three.
And as we know, Northwestern has been an area that they needed to be better at is rebounding the ball on the defensive end. There they dodge a bullet by Nebraska.
A lot of times those second chance opportunities lead to open looks from three.
I thought it was going in. That's just normally the way it goes.
Nick Martinelli penetrates the Nebraska defense. That's easier said than done, with the way Nebraska really tries to deny anything in the paint. Out of bounds, it's Northwestern ball.
And the way that it's right off the catch, rip, go. When you're able to go that quickly, now all of a sudden you're heading down the lane line. And because Nick grabs it and rips right away, that's why he's able to get through that little crease that was there. Nebraska's defense, we've talked about it, they're compact, they're tight. But catching the ball and ripping and go gives Nick the ability to get down that lane line.
Martinelli almost had a double-double 1 year ago against Nebraska. The Huskers won that game despite trailing by 20 points in the second half. Cheravino off to Singleton, and Northwestern getting some looks inside.
Well, and it starts with just the double team, the pass to the opposite corner, one pass and then a quick drive because Nebraska was in a scramble situation.
Frager off the back iron. Max Green the rebound. Reed in transition. Northwestern stays alive. Singleton turns it over. Cale Jacobson the steal. Frager in transition. Wow, how about the redshirt freshman?
And that's what happens. Turnovers lead to runouts. You saw one double team, how they handled it baseline, resulted in a great bucket. That time it results in a turnover.
Martinelli calling for it mid-post on Buchtengel with the left hand on the right side. Eight straight 20-point games or more for Nick Martinelli. He's got 7 already. Foul on Jaden Reed.
Look at this Northwestern team and how they're able to hand the double team. You see Nick Martinelli, double team comes, skip to the corner, one more pass, drive, score. But sometimes when you don't handle it well, it results in runouts, and that's what Nebraska's doing.
Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Venmo. Score more with Venmo. Nebraska has scored more than all 17 of their opponents so far to start this season. Northwestern trying to hand the Huskers their first loss of the 25-26 campaign. Fred Hoiberg has gotten great contributions all season long from guys like Bryce Sanford. And it has been up and down the lineup for Nebraska. It's a mature team that has come together in a lot of ways for what's proven to be a very special season. Here is Sanford, the Iowa transfer. 5 to shoot for Cale Jacobson. Wiggles past Cheravino, who blocks him.
And a really good defensive possession there by Northwestern. Everyone stayed, guarded their yard one-on-one, and then the help sides there just makes it very difficult on Nebraska.
Cats have hit their last 5 shots. The streak ends. Green just a little bit off from deep. Sam Hoiberg off to Jacobson as Nebraska settles into the half court. Bryce Sanford lets it fly and twirls it in.
That's what Max Green needs to continue to trail that. If you give Sanford any amount of space, he's going to raise up. You've got to keep trailing that.
First 3 of the game for Price Sandfort, the junior. He's had 3 or more triples in 6 of his last 7 games. Shooting the lights out for the Huskers. Jaden Reed, shifty. Oh, that changed its mind halfway down, but Nick Martinelli, in a cloud of white, was able to come down with the offensive rebound. He draws the foul.
You look at how Nick is able to work in the paint, and it's just continuing to work around. He's one of the best players in the country, and nobody talks about it. It's effort plays like that. It might not always be something that's sexy, but he always gets the job done, whether it's a catch and rip and go, whether it's just working around and creating an offensive rebound and an opportunity. He does it in such a variety of ways, and I don't think the national media talks nearly enough about how good of a basketball player Nick Martinelli is.
He just hit his 100th free throw of the season on 126 attempts. Second team All Big Ten last season, eyeing a first team designation this year. Price Sandfort in and out. Rebound tipped to Tyler Kropp into the game for the first time. Number 1 for Northwestern. Hoiberg with the steal. Sam Hoiberg is fouled by Kropp.
But this all starts with transition defense by Nebraska. They're so good at what they do. They all load to the ball. You see Northwestern with the push, but there's 1, 2, 3 Nebraska players there. And then you've got Sam Hoiberg with the hands, the extremely quick hands. It then results to a transition opportunity for Nebraska. Like, Nebraska defensively, everyone talks about how they've changed the system, but it starts in transition. If you're not good in transition, you're not going to be a good defensive team. Nebraska is excellent in transition, and that's a great example of what they do.
2 at the free throw line for Sam Hoiberg, who had 6 steals against Oregon. He heads to the bench with Nebraska up 3. Jordan Clayton into the game for Northwestern. Buchtengel matched up with Reed. Martinelli double team. Cheravino is fouled by Buchtengel, his first. Coming up, the great slate of men's hoops continues. Number 12, Michigan State takes on Washington. That's next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. A quadruple header today. This is game 3 of 4, an awesome afternoon of hoops. Hope the guys at the studio are hanging in there. It's a long day for them. Martinelli tries to tip it back in, and on the 4th try, Martinelli gets it to go.
We were just talking about how no one talks, but it's the energy that he plays with. Just, you always have to make sure you get a body on him and are aware of where he's at.
That's what a motor looks like.
Absolutely. He's so fun to watch.
Martinelli into double figures, which has been basically automatic this season and last. Buchtengel, off balance layup, and Singleton up with it. Numbers for Northwestern. Singleton pulls up and cans it. Trey Singleton, highest rated recruit in program history, has 6. Back and forth first half, 6 lead changes already. Frager hits the reverse. Make it 7 lead changes.
That's back and forth, but this is where we've said it. Nebraska has not won in Big Ten conference play, but they've been close in almost every game.
We're talking leads in the second half.
Absolutely.
4 of their 6 Big Ten games. Martinelli misses the runner. Sandfort lets it fly and draws the foul. Bucket good. Sandfort a chance at a 4-point play.
And you've got to find it, you've got to locate in transition. If you don't, Sandfort's going to make you pay, and 1. Northwestern has handled Nebraska's double team better than any team I've seen. Here you see Jordan Clayton with the vision to be able to see and find Nick Martinelli. Now, I don't know how he makes this pass, but it starts with the initial vision to see it, and he throws it. But the way that Northwestern has handled Nebraska's double team and their defensive pressure, they have 10 points in the paint, and the majority of that has come off of the double team by Nebraska.
Well, Sanford picks up the action at the free throw line, a chance for a 4-point play. Yes, Sanford, an 81% free throw shooter, now has 7 points. But it's been interesting to see Northwestern control the glass in this game. Cats are not a very good rebounding team at all, but they're doubling up Nebraska so far.
And they'll be opportunistic on the offensive side, but defensively is where they really have struggled rebounding the ball.
Jordan Clayton too strong from three. Sheravino, another offensive rebound and a putback.
And like I said, they'll be opportunistic on the offensive side, and that's an example of that. Look at Nebraska offensively. They're going to play out of this high post with a lot of dribble handoffs. What that does is creates a lot of space for them to operate. Now the space is there and allows Sanford to get to the rim. But it starts with the dribble handoff because that action is one of the toughest actions to guard in college basketball.
9 points for Price Sanford to lead the Huskers. Sheravino needs help. Reed closed out by Jacobson, drives inside, and a jump ball is called. Good defense by Nebraska's Braden Frager.
And that's what Nebraska wants. There you see the drive by Reed, but then you see the hands, and Frager's able to get the jump ball situation, but you're always forcing. No middle is Nebraska. They're always forcing to where they've got a guy that's going to help them, and it makes it extremely difficult to score in the paint.
Mast posting up Reed. Singleton with the help defense. Lawrence knifes inside. Now Jacobson outlets to Frager for three. Singleton the board.
Great box out there by Clayton to keep Rink Mast off the glass.
Northwestern's going to have to hit some threes if they want to make this a game.
We talked with Coach Collins at shoot around. He goes, one of the things, talks about the list of the other things, he goes, and then they're just going to have to take some shots too. So
Martinelli, interestingly enough, has not had his customary touch with those floaters in the lane. Still in double figures. Sanford, such a quick release. Long rebound eventually controlled by the Cats.
Nebraska doing a good job on the defensive glass, though. They're really making sure they're finding their body and cleaning it up. Only one offensive rebound for Nebraska this afternoon.
Foul off ball there. Tomorrow, more men's hoops excitement comes your way. Penn State clashes with Maryland. Coverage begins with the tip-off show at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. One of those teams was walking out of there with their first conference win of the season.
What Nebraska and Northwestern, what Northwestern's doing a really good job of, they have not allowed Nebraska to go on a 10-0 run. Now, this is a team that has 21 double-digit scoring runs in Nebraska, and Northwestern has not allowed that in this first half.
It's over 5 minutes to go. Arrington Page, a lot of contact in the lane. Nebraska with the takeaway. Lawrence camped out at the wing. It finds Buyuktanjel down low, and that is a foul. A couple of free throws for the Nebraska big man from Turkey, Berke Buyuktanjel.
We talked about the runs, how they've had 21 double-digit scoring runs. How does that happen? Well, it starts with steals. It starts with transition offense, and it starts with offensive rebound. Now, we've seen some steals by Nebraska. We've seen some transition offense, but we haven't seen those offensive rebounds. And that's the biggest thing as far as why, you know, you look at this Nebraska team hasn't been able to go on a double-digit run. And Northwestern's done a good job of that.
Well, Chris Collins didn't need to tell us this at shoot-around. You can tell just by watching Northwestern. They play hard. It's not lack of effort. Guys aren't dejected, hanging their heads. It's just, as you said, comes down to a couple of key plays especially late. Northwestern trying to find the winning formula here. Buchengel misses a pair of free throws. Jake West running the point again for Northwestern. West for Martinelli with 6 on the shot clock. He cans the mid-range J.
But Martinelli does a really good job with just a short roll there. There was a little bit of a trap on that ball screen, and the short roll gave him enough space that the closeout was going to be longer for Nebraska's defense.
Martinelli has already taken 12 shots today.
Well, he did take 4 on one possession.
That's
He's got
true.
5 rebounds now. 4 of those came on one play. But
great recall. Mast in the post. Too strong. Mast took a hard fall. A little bit slow to get up. Clayton too strong from the corner. Hoiberg skies for the rebound. Frager hits the layup.
We were just talking about Northwestern needing to hit a couple of threes. Just that's an example. A corner 3 wide open, you've got to make that. And when you look at where they're at, it's shooting 31% from 3 in Big Ten play. They're shooting 28%, which is 16th in the conference during Big Ten play.
The fast break points inverted. Northwestern third in the Big Ten in fast break points. Singleton misses baseline. But it's the Huskers who have been running the floor a little bit this afternoon. Lawrence pops. Short.
And that wasn't a typical Nebraska offensive possession. That was a pretty poor possession there for Nebraska.
West turns it over. Jamarcus Lawrence read that beautifully. Mast open. That's off. Both teams out of sync right now. And Chris Collins calling for a timeout.
Northwestern takes timeout.
Collins rallying the troops. Northwestern down 5. It has been a storybook season for Nebraska already. Best start in program history, 17-0. 21 consecutive wins going back to the end of last season, of course. Nebraska won the inaugural college basketball crown. And they've never been ranked higher than 8th. Their current ranking ties the best ranking in program history, and this is some great historical context for you. This is the 9th game Nebraska has played while ranked this season, 9th consecutive, mind you. Previous 30 seasons, they've played a total of 8 games ranked. So just shows what a special season this has been for the Huskers.
Well, and I asked Coach Hoiberg, when did your team believe in yourself?
Yes.
Because there's always a moment. Every season there's a moment that a team like this has that says, no, we belong and we're going to belong. There's that Illinois win. I said, yeah, that's probably a pretty good one, just like that shot. I think Martinelli was too. But every team has a moment where you look at each other in the locker room and say, we are this good. Belief, it's a crazy thing in this game. Every great team has it.
And it's very contagious and infectious, right?
Well, it's the extra play, and it makes you want to play together even more.
Another reverse for Braden Frager. He has 8.
Northwestern with 6 turnovers. They only average 8.4. First in the country, and they've got 6 in the first half. Look at this, it's a 4-point game. Northwestern needs to take better care of the basketball.
Martinelli on Hoiberg, drops it off for Singleton. Blocked by Buchengel. Reed saves the possession. Off right, and Hoiberg the rebound. Hoiberg baseline, kick out. Lawrence, 3-ball, good.
But Sam Hoiberg gets a part of the paint. When you get paint, boom, you can kick it out.
State Farm halftime report coming up. Mike Hall, Rayfeld Davis, Mike DeCourcy in our Chicago studios. There's a foul on Buchtengel at the rim. Singleton is going to the line for Northwestern. That's number 2 on Buchtengel.
But Singleton just does a great job of lulling the Nebraska defense. It's like the weak side, they're engaged. Singleton realizes that, grabs the ball, rips and go. It's a quick, decisive move. So for young players, a lot of young players don't have that quick, decisive move, but understanding that the weak side's engaged, rip, go, now all of a sudden something good's gonna happen.
Singleton's had a good first half.
I agree with you. He's been aggressive. He's been in attack mode. To start the game, he was in attack mode, and it's continued here. 7 points, 3 of 6. He's been really active.
6.6 rebounds in the loss to Illinois.
Well, and you look at it, but since the new year, he's shooting 4 of 22 from the field. So already you're talking about being aggressive. 3 of 6, 50% in this game.
Northwestern's coaching staff so optimistic about his upside.
It's an offensive foul.
Yes, it is. Northwestern ball.
Jamarcus Lawrence gets high with this. You look at the drive, and it's going to be a push-off right there to create enough space. Looking at it live, it looked like an offensive foul. Looking at the replay, it's enough there, especially when you get high, to push off.
A big opportunity for Northwestern to make this a one-possession game just before halftime.
Well, Northwestern had an opportunity against Illinois, and it resulted in a missed dunk to get it down to 3 in that Illinois game.
Cheravino from the extended elbow. Hoiberg the rebound.
Just those are the little plays. Those are the plays that it goes from a 5-point game to a 3-point game if Northwestern scores there. Now you've got to guard and try to keep this at 5. That's been the definition of Northwestern's season.
Call it a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock as Reed almost picks Hoiberg's pocket. Northwestern wanted an over and back call. Frager for 3, long. Rebound Cheravino. Reed gets it off. And it's off the mark. It's a 5-point lead for Nebraska at the half.
Yeah, good half there by Northwestern. And Nebraska, you look at what they've done. They've cleaned some things up, but really good first half.
Northwestern doing what they do, keeping things close, but Nebraska, an unblemished 17-0, looking to pick up another road win and keep this train rolling. Plenty of scarlet and cream in the house today as Nebraska traveling well with their team 17-0 on the road against Northwestern. Here are today's game leaders, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Nick Martinelli, what else is new? Leading the Wildcats with 15 points. Bryce Sanford picking up after an awesome three-point shooting performance against Oregon. He's 2 for 4 from beyond the long line today. Hi there, welcome back. Brian Butch, Chris Fosters. You know, much is made about Nebraska's offense, but their defense has forced Northwestern to commit a lot of turnovers.
Well, yeah, and you look at Northwestern, 6 turnovers. They're first in the country, only turning it over at 8.4 turnovers a game. So you look at, you know, with your Northwestern, you've got to make sure you take care of the basketball. You know Nebraska's going to get out. Their last game against Oregon got off to a really quick start in the second half. If you're Northwestern, you can't allow Nebraska to do that.
Nebraska holds Northwestern to under 30 points in the first half for just the second time this season. The Cats haven't cracked the 30-point mark in the first half. Singleton misses baseline, and we're underway in half number 2.
Look at Northwestern defensively. This is a team in Nebraska that's averaging 81 points a game. They hold them to 34. So in Nebraska, you're trying to find a little bit more flow on the offensive end, and an offensive foul is not going to do that.
Well, Berke Buchtengel just picked up his 3rd personal for Nebraska, so that's a development to monitor here in the second half. He sits, Braden Frager checks into the game.
And the foul wasn't needed. It's a screening action. It's a little bit of a push-off, puts the hands on the back, and it's just not needed. Anytime you do that, it's always going to be an offensive foul. You got to screen, you got to hit a body.
23 of Northwestern's 29 points have been scored by Martinelli and Singleton. That's a big-time three from the first-year point guard, Jake West.
And it is. We've talked about it. Northwestern's going to have to hit some shots against this Nebraska defense to loosen it up, and that's a big one early on here in the second half.
West just 8 of 22 from three-point range coming in. Lawrence hangs. It falls off the left side of the rim. Rink masked with the stick back.
And it was great verticality by West to challenge, but then Northwestern can't clean up the glass.
4-point lead for the Huskers. West just the 5th Wildcat to score in the game. Martinelli misses, tries to bat the rebound into friendly hands, but Frager has it for Nebraska. On the break, Frager all the way to the cup.
And that's the transition opportunities that Nebraska really has done a really good job of getting out. That's their 12th fast break point.
Only averaging like 5 per game coming in on the fast break. Oh, I'm hearing it for the first time. Chance of go big red here inside Welsh Ryan Arena. Sam Hoiberg on the wing. Open for 3. Cans it. Timeout, Northwestern. It was at this moment in the game Nebraska put Oregon in the rearview mirror. We'll see what happens in the second half today. Sam Hoiberg with the 3 for Nebraska. His dad, head coach Fred Hoiberg, doesn't take credit for teaching Sam how to shoot, but he does take credit for teaching Sam how to defend, especially keeping your hands low. Both guys have been great stealing the basketball in their respective careers.
That one went in for Sam. He should take credit for that. You got to take credit for that one.
6 steals for Sam Hoiberg in Nebraska's last game against Oregon. He's on a couple pickpockets today also. Singleton inside for Northwestern. And even with the wall up, Singleton scores.
And what a move. And this, was one of those crucial moments. Nebraska on a 7-0 run. How does Northwestern respond to keep that close? And Singleton with a really good post move and being ultra physical.
Mass guarded by Reed. Martinelli helps out. And the steal for Singleton. Northwestern forces the turnover and a foul called on Nebraska.
What I love about Singleton's bucket, the last bucket he scored, he takes his time. Dribble, know the double team's going to be there. And now a lot of people, go play fast, but he slows down. He splits it. Now you look at Nebraska, that Northwestern brings the double team, and Singleton jets across and gets a steal there.
Martinelli, kick out. Reed open for 3. Frager the rebound.
Good offense by Northwestern. It was. They just got to knock the shot down.
Frager really gets downhill quick.
Well, it's opportunistic, and that's what Nebraska really does. You talk about where we're at right now as far as fast break points. It's 12-2, and this is a Northwestern team that is averaging 14, fast break points, 3rd in the Big Ten, and they have 2.
Bryce Sanford looking for Mast in the post, guarded by West.
Now, the double team's gonna come. Now, how does Mast handle it?
He's blocked by Martinelli, but a foul. Martinelli can't believe it. All sells with the call.
And that, when you look at that overall, but it starts with this, as a big, when you catch that ball and the double team comes, you want to have space. The more space you have to operate, now all of a sudden you have more options. And Rick Mast realized the last possession he had was a turnover with the double team. He reverse pivot, saw the entire floor, realized that the help was going to get there late, drives and gets to the free throw line because of that. So great patience there by Rink Mast.
Mast up to 9 points this afternoon. Had a quieter night against Oregon, just 5 points, but truth of the matter is the Huskers really didn't need them in that 35-point win.
Well, foul trouble was a big part of that. Trying to find rhythm when you're in foul trouble is a hard thing to do.
Cherovino inside.
Great pass and vision by Nick Martinelli there to find Cherovino.
Skip pass to Hoiberg. Right back to Lawrence. Sandfort rattles in a three.
That release is so quick. I know everybody says it, but the release is so quick that you've got to make sure that on your closeout you're close enough to him. And it's a tough guard. He's been so good this year for this Nebraska team.
3 threes again for Bryce Sandfort. He's now hit that mark in 7 of his last 8 games. And of course, had the 7-3 explosion against Oregon. Martinelli with 5. Out of bounds, Nebraska ball.
When you're a shooter, all you need is a little bit of space. And that's exactly what Northwestern gave Sanford.
Monday, the Hoosiers aim to bring home a championship. And the Big Ten Network is the place to be all day long with a special 2-hour Big Ten Today. Extensive pre- and post-game coverage and an expanded big show to break it all down. We have a proud Hoosier alumnus producing our broadcast today, Bart Fox, who will definitely be tuned in for that coverage. Lots of IU alums, as a matter of fact, in our production truck, not just Bart, so a lot of crimson and cream.
Yeah, Indiana's pretty good, huh? Just
some would say they're a football school.
Some would say that, yes. That should be a good game on Monday.
10-point lead for Nebraska, very quietly. Starting the second half strong like they did against Oregon. They've hit all four of their last 4 shots. Make hit 4 out of 5 as Sandfort misses.
Good action. They just had a simple rip screen to a down screen to get Sanford wide open for look, misses it, but a really good action there by Nebraska.
Martinelli fights through Sandfort, around and in.
The way that Nick Martinelli is able to score the basketball with all the attention on him, he still is able to get to the paint and explode up through the contact. Sanford was trailing him there, and it could have possibly been a foul, too.
Sandfort open. Strong. Martinelli the rebound. It's the first rebound of the half. I think it's second rebound of the half now for Northwestern. Clayton. Lawrence nearly had the steal on the baseline, but it's out of bounds. Northwestern ball.
And this has been a problem for Northwestern because they had 2 or 3 wide open looks for 3, and they just passed it up because you could tell they weren't comfortable enough pulling the trigger from 3.
Cats 3 of 9 in the ball game from deep. Nick Martinelli has 2 of those threes. Max Green for 3. Frager the rebound. There was a foul underneath. Martinelli got twisted up with Cale Jacobson.
I'm surprised they're not looking for a hook and hold just based on the way that it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that that's not, at least looked at.
Green and 1. Northwestern trying to claw their way back.
Well, and it just comes off of a little screening action, and then you look at Max Green turn and explode and finish. But what I love is the emotion. You can tell he's had a frustrating season. He wants more, and he looks up and just says, thank you. It's about time something goes his way.
Sam Hoiberg got the foul, his second, and Max Green completes the 3-point play. The Patriot League Rookie of the Year last season with Holy Cross.
Well, and he shot it at 40% there. And that's what Northwestern needs is some of that, distance, that percentage of knocking down some outside shots.
Hoiberg is fouled. And it's Green who picks up the personal, so a role reversal from the play on the other end.
And you look at how Sam Hoiberg's able to get in there. It's because Nebraska and their shot diet is close to 50% three-point shot attempts. So what does that do? That creates space. And then when you have that, now all of a sudden there's little creases to be able to drive and probe and see if you can get there. And that's exactly what Sam Hoiberg did.
That's a classic Sam Hoiberg line right there. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
What's crazy to me is he has 32 assists versus 4 turnovers in 238 game minutes. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, no turnovers today. He's third in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio.
It's unbelievable.
Sheravino, good closeout. Five to shoot. Martinelli too strong with the left hand, and it's Nebraska ball. It's not just today either. No turnovers in 5 of his last 8 games, and look at the minutes he's logging.
What's unbelievable, and you look at over the last 8 games, he's got an 8-to-1 assist to turnover. Like it's
absurd.
It's what he's doing is unbelievable.
He's also second in the conference in steals per game. Sheravino nearly with the steal for Northwestern.
Well, he's really got to be talked about when we talk about Sam Hoiberg, what he's doing on the defensive end for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Like, that conversation needs to start to happen.
Price, Sanford off glass.
Just seems like Nebraska's had an answer for when Northwestern got closer.
Reed throws it to the Northwestern bench, and Chris Collins throws his hands up in dismay. What do we at turnovers now? That's 7 for Northwestern.
7, yeah.
First
now
of the half.
I was going to say first of the half, and so it's been better. But when you're first in the country and you only turn it over 8.4 times a game, to have 7 already it's a lot for you.
Sanford slips it to Buchtengel. Now Jacobson with 5. Left hand off glass. 11-point lead for the Huskers. Green the shot fake. Sheravino hooks it to Green. Deep 3. Got it.
That's a big-time shot for Northwestern. Big-time shot for Matt Green as well.
You think back to the and one that he had a moment ago. Helps to see that go in.
Well, absolutely. There's no question.
Hoiberg is fouled, and he's going to the line. Bryce Sanford having a great day for Nebraska with 14 points. We'll recap his afternoon when we come back.
Bryce Sanford shooting 40% from 3. A lot of it has to do with the quick release. There you see Northwestern trail it in transition. He's wide open. But this 3 that Bryce Sanford drills right here, you want to talk about shooters shoot with such being shot ready, quick release. There's not much Northwestern can do when you're able to get the shot off that quickly. You can't give Bryce any room. If you do, he's going to make you pay.
As hot as any three-point shooter is in the conference, if not the country right now. Hoiberg misses the free throw, much to the delight of the Northwestern student section. They get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich if he misses this one, but that would be shocking for Sam Hoiberg to miss. I guess it was a little more than just back-to-back misses. 8 the total, I'm being told. In any event. Martinelli for 3, off the heel. Cale Jacobson throws it to Frager. Lefty stroke for Frager.
Northwestern did such a great job of everybody staying low because everyone was low. When Jacobson drove, now all of a sudden Frager lifts up a little bit to make sure there's an angle there, and he's wide open for the 3. Really good spacing and patience by Nebraska offensively.
Tyler Kropp out to Green. Green nearly had his shot blocked, so he had to offload it, and Martinelli couldn't get the shot away. It's a shot clock violation.
That's the definition of swarming, of closeouts. Nebraska, everyone talks about how they're a no-middle defensive team and how they want to take that away. But one of the things that they do so well is they contest the three-point shot. And that right there, you saw that. Max Green got up, didn't know what to do, tried to get it, but the defender was there and he couldn't get the shot off. They are elite at contesting three-point attempts.
Buchtengel for Frager. And Kropp the rebound. Singleton with a nifty Euro step, but he was blocked by Buchtengel. Shot clock does not reset. Reed covered up, needs help, stripped. Hoiberg doing what he does best, and a jump ball is called. Possession arrow, Nebraska.
Defensively, what Nebraska's doing, hands are all over, and you look at Sam Hoiberg. I said the conversation needs to start about Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year and what he's done, but active hands, always making sure that he's in. And the thing to me is you're taught normally to reach up, but he's so good at reaching down and getting the ball and not fouling.
That's what he learned from his dad. Dad Fred said, I wasn't a tall player either. I had to learn to play with my hands low. Hoiberg inside, defense to offense.
I don't think Dad taught him the drop step either, but it definitely worked on that possession.
Hoiberg's into double figures. And it's out of bounds. Nebraska ball. Reed throws it away. We got a Wednesday night hoops triple header around the bend for you. Illinois, Maryland. Washington hosts Nebraska. Other way around, Nebraska hosts Washington, and Northwestern takes on USC. Coverage begins with the tip-off show at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
I can watch Sam Hoiberg play basketball all day long. He's an energy giver. He just does all the little things, and he's there for his teammates. When the time's right to make the play, he makes the play. He is what's good with college basketball.
Frager. Wow, Kropp fell on top of him. Kropp took a hard fall, and Frager's going to the foul line.
Now you're really starting to see Nebraska's offense. We talked about threes, but it's the cutting, it's the back doors. All of that's in play, and then when you're doing that, and a Northwestern defender and Kropp falls asleep, now all of a sudden it's trying to fly back into a play, and that's where the foul happens. But the cutting, the spacing, the playing off of each other, that's why Nebraska's undefeated.
Well, Fred Hoiberg has been talking about Braden Frager since he arrived on campus, and he redshirted last year, and you still heard Fred Hoiberg talking about Frager. He's been a guy that has been coming on in the program for a while, and now that he's playing, you've seen him develop really in real time as his first season on the floor has progressed. Kropp, too strong. Jacobson on the move. Price, Sanford all day. Timeout, Northwestern. A noticeable road presence for Nebraska. Why not? They're one of 3 remaining unbeaten teams in all of college hoops. Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Fans of Hoy ball inside Welsh Ryan Arena this afternoon. We're talking about kind of the keys to success for Nebraska.
Well, I just think when you look at it, they've got experience. They've got older players. The fit is right. You go and you get, Price, Sanford, he fits there. You've got, an old theme as far as a red shirt, right? Like, I mean, you've got those things in play that you don't necessarily see, and that's why they're able to beat, the 8th best team in the country and 17-0. And I think those sorts of things, we don't see that a lot in college basketball. And that's what's so great about this Nebraska story.
Reed with the triple for Northwestern a moment ago. And they're not, a big budget program either.
No, and they just fit. And you've got experience, and I think experience still is going to win in college basketball right now.
Buchtengel with a grade A effort off the miss by Jacobson, but it's Northwestern ball.
And then you've got guys that understand their roles. They just hustle. That's what you do. And that's what this Nebraska team has been about. You look at Nebraska. We talked about Northwestern. What they couldn't allow Nebraska to do was go on a double-digit run. Well, they've done that. It was a 17-3 before the last 3 by Northwestern. An 11-0 run with that as well was included. And that's what Nebraska does. They go on these big runs because they guard, they go out in transition, they hit offensive glass, and they, great turnovers. There's a great little short roll by Martinelli. That's what, that's the pocket in the area based on the way Nebraska's guarding that's going to be open.
He's 1 point shy of his 9th straight 20-point game. He picks up his 2nd personal foul. 19 points for Martinelli today, averaging just under 28 points per game in that torrid 8-game stretch. Buchtengel on Singleton. Frager for 3.
And Nebraska's done a good job of handling that double team. That's what's going to come, and Frager did a great job of staying corner. Most players want to float, but he just stayed deep and waited for the ball to come to him.
Great follow-up for Braden Frager. 18 points today after a career-high 23 against the Ducks. Martinelli guarded by Hoiberg, and he flips it up and in. 9 straight 20-point performances for the Northwestern captain, Nick Martinelli.
You just can't talk enough about what he's done and how he's done it. I mean, it's the Northwestern trying to find that secondary scorer to kind of help him. And that's been the biggest issue this year for Northwestern on that offensive end. Who's going to be the consistent second scorer?
Sam Hoiberg. Frager crashes the glass. West. Buchtengel snaps down the rebound. This time it's Buchtengel who stuffs home the Hoiberg try.
Back-to-back offensive rebounds there by Nebraska as well.
Singleton has had his mid-range going all game long. Singleton's got 12. Butangel on West. Singleton with the block. Martinelli on the fast break is going to the line.
Nebraska's been aggressive on the glass all afternoon. And Nebraska with an exclamation point.
Nebraska breaks the huddle. It hasn't been in one fell swoop, but they have just slowly built a 17-point edge here in the second half over Northwestern. The upcoming schedule, if the Huskers finish things off here and improve to 18-0, Washington and at Minnesota to come, there's a path to 20-0.
There is. At Minnesota, Minnesota's playing some really good basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, they are, and what they're doing hasn't always resulted in wins, but they're a really tough team to guard. And then January 27th, kind of a big game.
Huge game.
Kind of just a little bit of a big,
massive game.
A little bit of a big game there.
I mean, put it in your phone and set a reminder. You'll want to watch that one. Martinelli 1 for 2 at the free throw line. But Nebraska with a win today will be off to the best start to a season in the Big Ten since Ohio State went 24-0 in the 2011-12 season. Hoiberg drive and kick. Jacobson out to Sanford. Gosh, it's like he catches it in the shooting position.
Well, but I also think Jacobson being able to drive baseline and deliver a great pass. Like, this is a great passing team, and you see that in the shots that they make as well. Like, that was a great pass. Driving baseline through defenders, hit him right on the spot.
A 20-piece for Price Sanford. Huskers with 2 20-point scorers today, in Sanford and Frager. And a carryover from the Oregon game. Foul here on Sam Hoiberg. That's his 3rd.
Team's 6th. To the line for the Wildcats,
Jaden Reed goes to the foul line. Reed, a very good free throw shooter at 84%. He's got one more coming, fouled in the act of a 3-point shot. Sanford, he's got 5 threes in the game, denied a 6th, and they call a jump. Northwestern ball. Possession arrow points their direction.
And Nebraska just comes at you in waves. It really is. You can see the big spurts that they've had, but defensively they're engaged, they're locked in, they're so good. And they've held Northwestern to 56 points. Northwestern averages 78 on the season. It's just like this was a good defensive performance and a good offensive performance. That's why they're undefeated.
Well, Trey Singleton enjoying his 5th double-figure game of the season, up to 14. His career high is 17. He's been a bright spot for Northwestern today.
Yeah, we talked about who's going to be that second guy consistently enough for this Northwestern team on the offensive end. Defensively, they got to be better. Rebound the basketball. They're -2 on the glass. So, on the season, what they've done, that's something they need to get cleaned up and try to do that and see if they can keep improving.
Frager short, Hoiberg the offensive rebound. And Cale Jacobson had his hands up to bleed some clock here, under 2 minutes to go. Husker fans on their feet inside Welsh Ryan Arena.
Sam Hoiberg, just fun. That's the word I'm going to use, fun.
Would you want to play against him, though?
No.
Would that be fun?
No, I would pass.
Offensive foul, and this play will be reviewed. I think they're going to review this for a possible flagrant. Bryce Sandfort got hit hard.
The previous foul is under review for a potential flagrant one.
Yeah, this is one where Bryce does a really good job of getting over it. And yeah, this is up top to the head. And that's why when you screen, if you're Singleton, you got to screen with your hands down. And this one, yeah, it's right to the head, and he definitely hits him. It's probably the best look you get. Boom, you can see right to the back of the head there.
After review, it was determined that the contact by number 8 was most excessive and unnecessary. The foul will be upgraded to a flagrant one foul. 2 shots for Nebraska, their ball in the backcourt with 30 on the shot clock.
Paul Sells transmits the message. It's a flagrant foul on Trey Singleton.
That was a pretty obvious one.
Contact above the shoulders to the head and neck area.
I like those on this side of it. Make it nice and clean. Don't have to talk about it if it should be, if it shouldn't be. That, you know, makes our jobs a little bit easier.
Oh, it's been a great and very welcome addition to college basketball broadcasts. Sandfort buries 2 free throws, 22 on the day for him. And it's Nebraska ball. Sandfort 22 today and 50 in his last 2 games. On a tear. Kendall Blue has checked into the game for Nebraska, number 2, along with Jared Garcia, number 15. Both players' first action of the game as we are under a minute. For Northwestern, Phoenix Gill is on the floor, number 13. And Blue off glass, Gill the rebound. Singleton in and out. Gill another rebound. 2 rebounds off the bench. Inside to Crop. In and out. Blue, the board.
Yeah, just an overall really good game by this Nebraska basketball, this undefeated Nebraska basketball team, what they've done. They just continue to come at you in ways. Offensively, you've got to stay disciplined. If you don't, they're going to make you pay. And then defensively, you know, just did a really, fundamental sound job against this Northwestern team.
Huskers continue to make history. 18-0 as the best start in program history continues. It's the 22nd straight win for this program. Longest active win streak in the country. And it equals the best start to a conference schedule for Nebraska since 1965-66. Also the last season they were ranked number 8 in the country. Nebraska has never been ranked higher. And that might change when the polls are updated next week. Something special is brewing in Lincoln. Nebraska 18-0, 7-0 in the Big Ten as the Cats fall to 8-10, 0-7 in the Big Ten. This was a 5-point game at halftime. Nebraska has proven to be a very good second half team as of late. And they outscored Northwestern 43-29 in the second half. And log a 19-point win in front of plenty of Nebraska fans on the road. And you would expect that to continue. Let's go over to Brian Butch. He's standing by with Nebraska head coach Fred Hoiberg.
Coach, 18-0, what does this one mean for your group?
Well, this is a great win for us. I think Chris Collins has done an unbelievable job of that group, getting them to come out and play competitive. They could very easily have 3 or 4 wins in conference play. So for our guys to continue to regroup and turn the page and continue with their focus, I give our guys a lot of credit. It's just been a joy to coach them, and now it's on to the next.
How do you describe the identity of your team?
Well, it starts with defense. I feel that we've really bought into the defensive system and the concepts that we've tried to throw out there. and the guys have gone out and executed beautifully. They followed game plans. They're very coachable. Get on them in a film session. There's no head hanging. They do a great job holding each other accountable. And again, we just can't let them get comfortable right now, Brian. They just got to continue to play with an edge. When we do that, generally things translate to the offensive side.
You mentioned they got to play with an edge. What does your team still need to work on, and what are you going to point out to them?
Well, I think physicality. That first half, Martinelli was kicking our ass on the glass. He had 5 offensive rebounds himself, and they were beating us up. I think they were up 8 at halftime on the glass. And that was the big message. If we can go out there and get that flipped in the second half, we were going to have a good chance to win. And I thought our movement, I thought our guys really shared the ball tonight, and that's been a common theme with our team all season.
Congrats on a win, Coach.
Thank you, Brian.
Back to you, Chris.
All right, Butchie, thank you very much. Our thanks to Nebraska head coach Fred Hoiberg. Maybe the best story in college basketball coming out of Lincoln right now. The 8th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers are 18-0. For Brian Butch, our producer Bart Fox, our director Andrew Blaustein, this is Chris Foster saying good night from Evanston. More basketball to come. For now, we have a Big Ten Live basketball game break. Here's Ray Fell, Mike, and Mike.